Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into something huge, maybe a bit intimidating for many creatives.
Yeah.
How do you actually get a record label deal in, 2025? And the scale, it's just immense. I mean, think about it, over 60,000 songs hitting streaming platforms daily. The sources we looked at all agree this whole overnight success thing, it's mostly a myth. It's really about serious craft meeting, a really solid professional game plan.
Exactly. And that's our goal today, right? To kind of lay out that game plan. We're going to distill the key steps you need to take to look professional, to navigate this whole modern music business maze. It's got to be more than just, make good music. We need to talk about getting seen, negotiating smart, and actually building something. We'll even look back at how some legends hustled before all this digital stuff.
Yeah, and that's a key point right off the bat. Your mindset has to shift. Okay, sure, digital stores, streaming, they've changed the game. Labels aren't the absolute gatekeepers like they maybe once were for just getting your music out there. But let's be real. If you're chasing that massive global push, the kind that gets you on major radio, top playlists everywhere, the big labels, they still hold a lot of those keys. The tricky part is figuring out what they really expect from artists before they sign.
The whole paradigm's different. Meeting a label just for, printing CDs and shipping vinyl, that's almost irrelevant for someone starting out now. Independent artists, you guys have tools for global reach, for making money directly streaming, merch, touring.
Right.
So artists actually start from a stronger position in some ways. But the flip side is that the competition is just global and fierce.
Which leads us straight to maybe the most fundamental question you need to ask yourself, before you even think about contacting anyone. Why? Why do you actually want to get signed?
Yeah.
Is it about the money? Like a big advance to make killer record? Or is it that huge global machine, radio play? Or maybe you're looking for guidance, someone to handle the business side.
Knowing that answer is, it's everything. Because that priority shapes the kind of deal you should even consider. It's complex stuff. If money isn't the main driver, maybe a straightforward distribution deal works. You keep your masters, your ownership.
Okay.
But if you want that huge push, maybe look at a licensing deal or a traditional contract. But that means giving up ownership, maybe for years, maybe forever. If you don't know your goal, you can't possibly negotiate effectively when or if that chance comes.
Okay, so let's break down this blueprint then. We've established talent alone isn't going to cut it. Getting a deal now in 2025 demands strategic thinking, real business sense. We boil down the sources into basically 7 essential steps.
Right. Step 1, define your unique identity. In this sea of music, this is crucial. It's your calling card. And it's not about chasing trends. It's about being singular, unique. This takes work, intentional experimentation, maybe blending genres people don't usually mix, using sounds in new ways, finding an aesthetic that's just authentically you.
That makes sense. If you sound like their last signing, why would they need you?
Exactly. You're redundant. You need to bring something distinct to the table, a clear vision.
And that unique identity, it has to be presented professionally. Which brings us to step 2. Create professional quality music. Honestly, this is where a lot of artists probably get filtered out fast. A&R folks, they expect professional standards before you sign. So even if you're recording at home, which tons of people do, you have to invest in proper mixing, proper mastering. Your tracks need to sound right technically. Meet those industry specs for loudness, clarity. A brilliant song that sounds muddy, it just screams unprofessional.
Totally. And moving from the music itself to how you present it. Step 3, build a strong online presence. This is huge. It's like non-negotiable proof you might actually be commercially viable. Labels aren't just signing songs anymore. They're signing businesses that already have some momentum.
Right. They want to see you can connect with people on your own.
Precisely. They want artists who can build and engage an audience independently. And here's a really interesting point from the research. Engagement rates. They matter way more than just raw follower numbers.
Okay, wait, let's pause there. I hear that a lot, but unpack that. Why is having, say, 1,000 super engaged fans better for label than 10,000 passive followers who maybe just clicked follow once?
Great question. Well, first, engagement signals to the algorithms that your content is valuable, so it gets shown more. But from a business perspective, that smaller, highly engaged group is pure gold. It proves a couple of things. 1, you have a real community, people who actually interact, share your stuff, spread the word organically. And 2, perhaps more importantly, those are the fans who buy the merch, who show up for tickets, who might join a fan club. They're demonstrating actual commercial behavior. That group of 1,000 is actionable. The 10,000 passive followers, Could be bots, could be people who forgot they followed you, much harder to monetize.
Wow, okay. That completely reframes the goal of building online. All right, moving on. Step 4. Strategic networking. Ugh, networking. My mind goes straight to awkward industry mixers trying to make small talk at huge events like MIDEM or South by Southwest. Is that really the only path?
Huh. Yeah, those big events, MIDEM, the global conference, SXXW down in Austin, they can be valuable, sure, but they can also be overwhelming, kind of impersonal. The key word here is strategic. It's about offering value before you ask for something.
So not just handing out demos constantly.
Right. Think beyond just the big festivals. Leverage platforms like LinkedIn.
Listen.
Yeah, seriously. LinkedIn for music pros, or find those niche industry-specific Discord servers. Build actual genuine relationships. You're looking for allies, people who might champion you later, not just collecting contacts.
Okay, that feels more manageable. Then step 5, research and target labels. So crucial. Don't just blast your demo everywhere. That's a waste of time. You need to really dig in, identify maybe 5 to 10 labels that genuinely fit your music, your vibe, where you are in your career.
Study their roster. Is it a major, like Universal, Sony, Warner with that huge machine? Or is it a smaller indie label where you might get more personal attention, maybe better royalty splits? You need to figure out who specifically at that label, which A&R person might actually connect with what you do.
Which leads right into step 6, submit professional. Once you've targeted them, you need your package. That's the electronic press kit, the EPK. Needs to be slick, professional. High-res photos, a short, punchy bio, links to your best tracks on streaming links. Definitely not email attachments.
Oh God, no attachments, please.
Right. And critically, links showing that social engagement we talked about.
Oh.
And personalize every single outreach. Don't send a form letter. Mention artists on their roster you admire or feel aligned with. Show you've actually done your homework, that you understand their brand.
Absolutely. And the final piece, the one that protects you when things start getting serious, step 7, get professional representation. Look, once you start gaining real traction, maybe getting some interest, contracts might appear, you need a team, first and foremost, an entertainment lawyer.
Non-negotiable.
Totally. They understand the dense legal language, especially around intellectual property, master rights, how royalties are calculated, all that critical stuff. You cannot navigate that alone.
And a manager.
And ideally, yes, a good music manager. They usually work on commission, maybe 15–20%. They're your strategic partner. They help filter opportunities. They have industry connections that can open doors, getting features, placements, things you likely can't get on your own. They're your advocate, your strategist.
Okay, so that's the process, the structure.
Yeah.
But strategy without action is just talk. Let's look at how some absolute legends, particularly in hip-hop, actually executed this kind of blueprint.
Yeah.
Often before the internet made some parts easier. Like, think about Jay-Z. His whole ascent was like a masterclass in step 4. Strategic networking and pure hustle. It wasn't just about making reasonable doubt right. It was his relentless drive to build alliances, authentic collaborations, finding ways to access distribution channels that were basically locked down back then for independent guys.
Absolutely. That album was a statement piece, yeah. But it was built on years of strategic moves, business deals. It was self-made success, powered by understanding the business side.
And where Jay-Z excelled in access, maybe the notorious B.I.G. really nailed step 1. Unique identity, that authenticity. Long before Juicy was everywhere, he was apparently obsessive in the studio, making sure every line reflected his reality, his story.
Right. His breakthrough was that perfect storm, wasn't it? His undeniable street credibility combined with Puffy's vision for making it commercially huge. He managed to cross over, but kept that core authenticity intact. Earned it.
And then someone like Kendrick Lamar, he really focused on step 2, professional quality, but also on the vision. Aligning with TDE was key. The story goes that for Good Kid, MAAD City, they had these intense writing sessions, almost like a film production, literally storyboarding scenes.
Yeah, treating the album like a screenplay. That level of commitment to a cohesive cinematic narrative showed labels he wasn't just making songs, he was creating a whole world and experience. That's next level professional quality.
And Lil Wayne, he practically invented the modern version of step 3, building online presence with the mixtape game, right? Constant output, always reinventing himself.
Totally. But his specific hustle, the sources mention these secret listening parties he'd throw, like rent the house, pack it out, play new stuff through trusted networks first. Building that organic word-of-mouth buzz before it hit the mainstream or any labels are really paying attention. Pure grassroots demand creation. Calculated.
So these legends, they really show the blueprint in action. Okay, but let's talk brass tacks. the deals themselves.
Mhm.
What are the trade-offs? What do you actually give up when you sign?
This is critical. Major label deals. They're tempting, right? Global reach, massive marketing budgets, instant access to radio teams, playlist curators. It's the big machine.
But the cost.
The cost can be huge. Royalties, often pretty low. Think 10–15% of net receipts. And this is the part people really need to understand. Advances. They are not free money. They are loans. Loans that have to be paid back, recouped before you see a penny in royalties.
Okay, hold on. Let me push on that. If I get, say, a $500,000 advance, which sounds amazing, why would I accept only 10% of the income? Especially now, when I might already have direct access to my fans and some revenue streams. Is that marketing muscle really worth giving up 90%?
Well, that's the label's argument, isn't it? They'll say their machine, the publicists, the radio pluggers, the playlist connections, the international teams is what turns your potential $100K revenue into $10 million revenue. That big advance. That's their initial investment covering those costs and recording costs and usually a big chunk of marketing spend.
So I don't see royalties until all that is paid back from my small percentage.
Exactly. The advance, plus all specified costs laid out in the contract recording, video production, marketing contributions, tour support, sometimes all have to be recouped from your royalty share before you start earning. It's essentially debt against future earnings. And crucially, majors almost always demand ownership of your master recordings, often forever or for a very long time. Which leads to situations like the whole Taylor Swift battle over her catalog that was fundamentally about who owns the masters and controls the revenue.
Man, okay, that suddenly makes indie label deals look a lot more appealing, at least financially.
From a pure royalty percentage standpoint, absolutely. Indies often offer much higher splits, could be 50%, even up to 70% sometimes. And usually you get more creative freedom, feels more like a partnership, maybe more focus on long-term development.
But the downside is?
The downside is they just don't have the same financial firepower or global infrastructure as a major. They can't typically orchestrate those massive, instant, worldwide promotional blitzes. So again, it's a trade-off you have to weigh based on your goals.
And then these other deal types, distribution deals, where you keep ownership, we mentioned. But the one everyone talks about now is the 360 deal. What's the deal there? What are you giving up?
Right. The 360, it's basically the labels adapting to lower recorded music sales over the last couple of decades. In a 360, the label gets a piece of everything, not just record sales or streams. They participate in your touring income, your merch sales, brand partnerships, maybe even acting gigs if you do that.
Wow, okay.
The upside is supposed to be truly comprehensive support they're invested in your entire career. Management, promotion, legal, branding, all potentially under one roof. But the cost is sharing those income streams, like touring and merch that used to be almost exclusively the artists. You're trading potentially high-margin revenue for that integrated support. It comes back to knowing what rights and income streams are most important for your specific career path.
Okay, so wrapping this up, it's clear that getting signed, let alone succeeding after, is this really complex mix. It's the art, yes, but also sharp business thinking and that authenticity we saw with the legends building it strategically professionally.
Yeah, and the final dose of reality, looking at the numbers, less than 1% of demos sent to major labels actually lead to a signing. Less than 1%. So the real focus, honestly, whether you get a deal or not, has to be on building a sustainable career yourself, using those steps we talked about. Make your own success first.
That really is the key takeaway, isn't it? Getting signed isn't the end goal. It's really just the start of a massive business partnership. And since labels expect you to keep pushing, keep building your audience they're investing, to accelerate momentum, not create it from scratch. Here's the final thought to chew on. What's your plan look like for keeping that fire going, for managing those intense label expectations while staying true to your art after the deal is done? That's the deep dive you need to be taking right now.